it's up to him. He gave me that opportunity to fight him. It's only right that if that's what he want to do, I'll give it back to him. Outside of him, I was looking.
Well, the latest is, we signed and contracted to do a rematch, and that's what it is right now.
Do you know when it's going to be, when we can hear?
I don't got no date right now, but I know that's the next fight.
The rematch between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. remains one of boxing's hottest topics, following Crawford's decisive win in 2023 that crowned him undisputed welterweight champion. After stopping Spence in the 9th round, fans have eagerly speculated about what's next. Over a year has passed since their first fight, but a rematch is now more enticing than ever, potentially at a higher weight class. Tensions rose further when the two nearly came to blows face-to-face, with Spence signaling he's seeking revenge.
Yeah, and like I said before, it's in the contract, so it's not if I'm open to it or not. It's, what's in the contract, and Errol gave me an opportunity and a shot at becoming the first male boxer undisputed, in any division in the 4-belt era, and I honor, that. And if he was to come to me or activate his...
The first fight delivered everything fans hoped for and more. Crawford, the underdog, proved why he's among the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Spence, known for his toughness, had no answer for Crawford's speed and versatility. The fight was a statement, cementing Crawford as the top welterweight and one of his generation's greatest. Still, a rematch was always likely, given Spence's refusal to accept the result and his belief he could change the outcome.
Knock my first...
Because I don't want to personally, we talking about what we want to see. I don't want to see it. Because I know what it's going to look like. The same as it looked last time.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Errol Spence wasn't the same.
What was wrong with him?
He looked slow. He looked he looked sluggish.
Why?
I can't tell you. I wasn't in camp.
At the division he dominated for his entire career. All of a sudden, when it came time for this fight, he looked different. Why?
I wasn't in camp with him. I can't tell you. I don't know if his body finally broke down for being the one.
For Spence, the defeat was difficult to process. He entered the first fight as the favorite, having dominated the welterweight division for years, but despite being in peak condition and possessing immense power, he couldn't overcome Crawford's superior skill set. Many pointed to his injuries prior to the fight, with reports indicating he had suffered a torn retina and was still dealing with the aftermath of a 2019 car accident. These challenges didn't stop him from stepping into the ring, but the impact on his performance was clear. Since then, Spence has maintained that he wasn't at his best and has taken the necessary steps to ensure he's fully prepared for the rematch.
I want to see Bud be great, but what better buffer to see if Bud's ready at 68 than the EJ rematch of 54 and 60? And how exciting would it be to watch Errol Spence he walks at 190. I'm 185 pounds right now. I'm 5'11". To think of me cutting.
Now, fast forward to 2025, and the rematch is on the horizon, but the landscape has changed. Crawford, having bulked up for a potential fight with Canelo Alvarez, is now moving up in weight, which means the rematch could take place in the junior middleweight division. Crawford's decision isn't entirely unexpected. At 35, and with a career of disciplined weight management, he's ready to test himself in a new class. Facing Spence at 154 or higher could shift the fight's dynamic. While Spence, naturally bigger and comfortable at this weight, may gain an edge, it also allows for a stronger, more experienced Crawford who brings added power against larger opponents.
To get this fight done, he gave up a lot of money on his side to have this fight at 147. If you look at the contract, this is a sport of contracts. Chris, you know this. You have signed contracts. You have tried to get out of contracts. The winner gets to dictate the weight. The loser got to put the rematch.
One of the most compelling aspects of the rematch is the renewed confidence in both fighters. Spence, long recognized for his relentless style, has admitted he wasn't fully ready for Crawford's challenges in their first encounter. He's emphasized that he's been working tirelessly on his technique, conditioning, and overall strategy to ensure he avoids the mistakes that cost him before.
I feel as if, he would go back to the drawing board. He would come back stronger. He'll come back more hungrier. And he'll try to fix the things that, he needed to fix to make the fight look different in the second time than in the first time. I do believe that. But that's the only thing that I can actually...
Spence knows he has the power to hurt anyone in the division, but he also understands that Crawford's boxing IQ is elite. To have a shot in the rematch, he's concentrating on sharpening his defense and enduring Crawford's precise counterpunching. His confidence is high, and he firmly believes that by sticking to his game plan, he can defeat Crawford in the rematch.
Yo, I'm excited for this, man. Gives him a chance to heal up. Yo, and a Hill Errol Spence for anybody.
On the other hand, Crawford is no stranger to confidence, having already proven himself in their first fight. For him, the rematch isn't about proving anything to the world, it's about further cementing his legacy. Known for his composure and ability to think several steps ahead, Crawford doesn't let past victories cloud his focus. He's constantly looking to improve and knows a second win over Spence would elevate him even further, much like Canelo. The question remains how moving up in weight will affect him. While the extra pounds could slow him down, Crawford's meticulous training and focus on balancing strength and speed make it hard to see him being anything less than fully prepared.
Reasons why Terence Crawford is doing this. Terence Crawford wants to go after Canelo or Charlo. Because in reality, in his mind and in everybody else's mind, except Errol Spence and Errol Spence Jr. fans, he beat Errol Spence more than convincingly, which is there's no need for rematches. There's
also the chance that the rematch will play out very differently. Crawford's first victory came from outboxing Spence, controlling the pace, and landing precise shots. But with Crawford's added bulk for Canelo, the dynamics could shift. Spence, accustomed to fighting at a higher weight, becomes more physically imposing at 154, with added muscle and power that could play a bigger role in a potential rematch.
Besides his immediate rematch clause?
I don't know if it's gonna be at 54 or 47, but I'm sure he probably gonna push the weight up. But there's no gonna be no change in the decision. The performance still is gonna be the same.
For Crawford, adapting his style to a new weight class will be crucial. His fluidity and versatility have always been his strengths, and they'll help him succeed even at a heavier weight. Still, he'll need to be sharper and more defensive, as Spence will aim to assert his power. The fight also takes place in a shifting welterweight landscape. By 2025, the division is stacked with talent, but Crawford and Spence remain at the top, the fighters everyone is watching despite new contenders emerging.
Now, man, it's like feeling that's kind of hard to explain, being back on the U.S. soil and then coming in to some good wins. When I was over there, got some good wins before I left to go over there. I got the best win in probably history. So, feel good, man. So the rematch is going to happen.
Jaron Ennis, with his raw talent, and rising star Virgil Ortiz Jr. are both waiting in the wings. Yet neither has faced a challenge like Crawford or Spence, and until they do, they remain second to the established elite. This makes the rematch between Crawford and Spence even more significant. It's the fight that will decide the true ruler of the welterweight and junior middleweight divisions.
Errol Spence the rematch, but at 147. Now there's a couple of reasons why Terence Crawford is doing this. Terence Crawford.
There's also the broader boxing landscape to consider. Saudi Arabia's investment in the sport has changed how and where major fights take place. While boxing has always had big money, this new influx makes events like this rematch even grander. Whether it happens in the Middle East or another high-profile venue, the backing of these funds will elevate the fight scale. It could become one of the biggest bouts in recent memory, attracting fans worldwide and bringing excitement to boxing that has been missing for years.
When he didn't have to, he sacrificed some things. So, in my opinion, you gotta just do what you gotta do. I think that 54 is the 7 pounds north, and it does make a. Errol Spence is an incredible fighter, and Crawford is too. If that's what Errol wants to do, to fight.
As of now, everything points to a massive rematch. Both fighters are motivated, confident, and driven by redemption or legacy. Moving up in weight adds another layer to the story. For Spence, it's a chance to move past his loss and prove he can still dominate. Terence Crawford, already undisputed in 2 weight classes with multiple titles and an undefeated record, has faced ongoing criticism despite his achievements. He's learned to live with it, and now he's focused on charting his own path, without concern for others' opinions.
And I pretty much don't want to hear nothing about Terence Crawford. never would have happened if it wasn't for you. Now when it's your turn to do what Earl did for you, you playing boxing politics, talking about 147 or nothing. But you was the guy saying that it was hard for you to make it to 147, so yeah, you would want to fight at 154.
When Crawford first decided to move up to junior middleweight, many expected him to follow the path that had brought him success before, dominate a division, unify the belts, and cement his status. That's been his trajectory so far. At 135 pounds, he captured the title but left before becoming undisputed. At 140 pounds, he didn't just win, he dominated, claiming undisputed status in a division where no one could match him. And at 147 pounds, he made history again, becoming undisputed welterweight champion by defeating a formidable Errol Spence Jr. in their highly anticipated 2023 fight.
Crawford, we'll start here. Reportedly offers Spence the rematch at 147 and not 154. This has got people up in arms because you have the Spence contingent who says, you know what? Our guy Spence made concessions to get this fight done. He gave up a lot of money on his side to have this fight at 147. If you look at the contract, this is a sport of contracts. Chris, you know this.
After his success at welterweight, many assumed Crawford's next step would be to chase junior middleweight titles, unify the division, and cement his legacy. With his skill, versatility, and track record, a run at 154 pounds seemed natural. But Crawford had a different perspective. When he moved to 154 pounds, many expected him to pursue another undisputed reign, yet in a candid interview, he made it clear he wasn't planning to remain in the junior middleweight division for long.
Champ, yes. I have nothing but respect for you. The question I have is, Errol alluded to wanting the rematch clause, but he asked, would you do it at 154? Is that your call, or is that the promoter's call, and would you even think about moving up to 154 to fight him?
Okay, so first of all, I need you to say I'm a loser.
Let's go!
He dismissed the idea of unifying 154 pounds, saying the division didn't offer the legacy-defining fights he was seeking. Not at all, Crawford said when asked about unifying 154 pounds, there are a lot of good fighters, but not many legacy fights at 154. If I beat Bakram, they'll say, who is Bakram? Fondora's already been knocked out. His comments may surprise some, given the talent in junior middleweight. Fighters like Jermel Charlo, Jaron Ennis, and Brian Castano have made waves in the division, and a showdown with any of them would still be a major event in boxing.
Along my career, I've been criticized, and people have taken credit away from me just to try to diminish my accomplishments, just off of pure hate. So what would they be able to say with me going up 2 weight classes? If Canelo become undisputed again, and I beat Canelo, what could they say? They'll say something, but they're gonna make a.
But for Crawford, these matchups don't carry the same weight as other challenges. While fighters like Bakram Martazalev or Fondora are capable opponents, Crawford feels the division lacks the star power and compelling narratives that would make him invest significant time at 154 pounds. His decision reflects a broader perspective on his career and the constant criticism he has faced. Crawford has long been one of boxing's most criticized and underappreciated champions.
Just wanted to prove to the world that I was better than what they say I was, because given the fact that how great I looked against each opponent, they say, oh, well, he wasn't nothing, or he was this, he was that, because how talented I am.
Right.
So they didn't want to give me no credit because I passed all my tests with.
He's fought in a manner that establishes him as one of the best in the sport, yet fans and analysts have consistently doubted him, questioning his opponents and his level of competition. No matter his achievements, someone always found a reason to undermine him. Much of Crawford's frustration stems from this constant criticism, the feeling that he can never fully satisfy his detractors. But his frustration isn't only about criticism, it's about the legacy he wants to leave behind.
Just to boost him up. I'm like, dude, you're not gonna do that. Because I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. Everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish. I don't wanna sound like I'm hating on him. I honestly don't know if he make it to the Hall of Fame with the accolades.
The welterweight division has been stacked with talent in recent years, and Crawford has repeatedly proven he's the best. Yet the junior middleweight division doesn't seem to inspire him. While he would excel at 154 pounds, he doesn't see it as a path for building a lasting legacy. Some might argue that 154 pounds could have been the challenge he needed, but Crawford's ambitions are now higher. He has stated that the only fight that truly excites him in the coming years is a showdown at 168 pounds against Canelo Alvarez.
Oh, Alvarez thinks you're not a 54-pounder. In other words, you say, nah, he's too small.
That's his take. There's a reason why Israel was so respectful in the fight. Anytime I let my hands go, he either grab me or move. For the bigger guy, you should have been walking me down. You should have been bullying me. Canelo can say what he say.
He just doesn't feel like you're a 54-pounder.
A move to 168 pounds could be the fight that elevates Crawford's legacy to a new level. Canelo, long considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters, presents a challenge Crawford can't ignore. For him, this is the bout with the potential to cement his legacy, a victory over one of the sport's biggest names. I don't see a lot of legacy fights at 154, Crawford told Cigar Talk. But when it comes to Canelo, that's the fight I want. That's the fight I've wanted for a long time, and I'm going to make it happen. If I handle him, that's how I'll solidify my legacy.
All the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not.
It's clear that Crawford has reached a stage in his career where critics' opinions no longer matter. He isn't chasing fights to please others or prove himself to naysayers. Instead, he's focused on what truly counts, making the fights that define his legacy. Crawford is no longer driven by titles alone, it's about proving he's the best. For him, that means taking on Canelo in a bout that will both challenge him and serve as the defining moment of his career.
There's no Triple G on Bud's resume. There's no Trout on Bud's resume. There's no Daniel Jacobs on Bud's resume. Canelo is the one that's fought the elite level opposition. It's Canelo that fought Laura. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ.
Okay, but Bud is an elite boxer.
So you're an elite boxer, but you haven't fought elite boxers.
When Crawford moves up to face Canelo at 168 pounds, it will be a significant risk. Canelo's size, experience at super middleweight, and exceptional skill make him a formidable opponent, but this is the type of challenge Crawford excels at. It's the kind of fight that could elevate him from a great fighter to a legendary figure. A victory over Canelo would make Crawford a household name, not just in boxing, but across the broader sports world.
Which has me questioning now the outcome of this fight. Terrence Bud Crawford in person was absolutely taller, which we know, but looked like a bigger man. He looked at least 10 or 20 pounds heavier. His frame was bigger. He had his head, like his skeletal structure, like he looked like a bigger dude. And it really made me be like, well, isn't that Canelo's only advantage in this fight?
But Crawford's decision isn't just about money or glory. His career has been defined by a relentless drive to push his limits, and moving up to face Canelo is the ultimate test. At 168 pounds, he'll need to adjust his training, diet, and approach to compete at the highest level. Yet Crawford, always willing to embrace challenges, isn't intimidated by Canelo's size or strength advantage.